T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. Lift off. Starlink 4-8.
Vehicle switching downrange. M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station,
Power and telemetry nominal.
carrying our stack of 46 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, moments ago, we throttled down the engines, reducing the speed by decreasing the flow of fuel to the engine. That's in preparation for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic
Vehicle
pressure.
supersonic.
And we are coming up on max Q in a few seconds here.
Max Q.
And there's that call out that we've passed through max Q. Now, we do have 4 events coming up in quick succession. The first will be main engine cutoff, or MECO, stage separation, second engine start 1, or SES-1, and then fairing deploy. So main engine cutoff is where all 9 of the M1D engines shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for the next event, which is stage separation. And that is where the first stage separates from the second stage. Right after stage separation, the first stage will start making its way back to Earth for landing. And while we are able to land the first stage, both on land and at sea on our drone ship, today we will attempt to recover the first stage on today's mission on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. Now, while this is happening, stage 2 will continue on its journey with the third event, which is SES-1, or second stage engine start 1. That's where the MVAC engine lights up and propels the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. And just a few seconds after that, we'll have fairing deploy.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And great views on your screen. We just saw MECO, stage separation, SES-1, and fairing deploy. On your left-hand screen is the first stage, right-hand screen is a view of the MVAC engine. And those visual confirmations mean that we have successfully deployed our fairing halves. SpaceX has reflown Falcon fairing halves since 2019. And the fairing halves flying on today's mission are flying for the 3rd time. Improvements on the fairing and our overall refurbishment process has decreased the impact of water landings and led to an overall fairing recovery rate of 93% over the last 14 missions. Of 109 fairing missions, 73 have been recovered and 32 missions have flown recovered fairing halves. And again, we will be attempting to recover the halves again today using our recovery vessel, Doug. And some great views here as stage 2 heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit. Stage 1 will complete 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. The first is the entry burn, where 3 of those 9 M1D engines will reignite. That helps to slow the stage down as it re-enters back into the upper parts of the Earth's atmosphere.
Acquisition signal, Bermuda.
Then the second burn for the first stage is the landing burn. This is a single engine burn, the center E9 engine, and that brings the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land on the drone ship. Stage 2 is still looking good on a nominal trajectory. On your left-hand screen, you can see those grid fins on the first stage, helping to guide the vehicle back to its landing zone. Now, if you're just now joining us, we've had a successful liftoff of Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Slick 40 today. Right now, you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9's second stage on the right-hand screen. And that was just a call out for a nominal trajectory on second stage. Stage 1 is currently making its way back to our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. And today is the 38th launch of Starlink satellites overall, the 7th mission of 2022, 4th Starlink mission of 2022, and the 145th total overall SpaceX launch. We're just about a minute away from the entry burn start on the first stage. And the Merlin engines on the first stage are optimized for sea level. These achieve 190,000 pounds of thrust during ascent. That's when we lift off or fly towards space, and descent, and that's when we come back down to Earth. Now, the MVAC engine is optimized for 220,500 pounds of thrust in vacuum, and that's what you're seeing on your right-hand screen. You can see those grid fins on your left-hand screen on the first stage. Falcon 9 is equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage. And stage 1 is using nothing but the grid fins for steering as it makes its way, as it makes its return back to Earth. That is until we light the center E9 engine. Then we can gimbal the engine to help guide the stage as it lands. Again, we're coming up on that entry burn here in a few seconds.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
We heard the call out, and you can visually see that
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
You can visually see that the entry burn has begun on the first stage.
Stage 2 continues to follow nominal trajectory.
Great call outs on stage 2. Entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
There it is. It's just a 20-second burn, and as you can see and heard, the entry burn has concluded. Next up will be the landing burn, and that'll be the final burn for the first stage as it returns back to Earth. Now, for those of you who follow along, you'll know that the soot on the rocket indicates it's been flown before. The rocket-grade kerosene, RP1, used to fuel a Falcon 9 is carbon-based, so when it burns, it generates that soot. And as you just saw with the entry burn, the Falcon 9 vehicle flies through its plume, and that's how it generates the soot onto the vehicle. We are just about 20 seconds or so away from that landing burn beginning on the first stage, and as we touch down, we will also have SECO 1, or second stage engine cutoff 1, on second stage. So we should hear some callouts for that as we are landing on A Shortfall of Gravitas today.
Stage 1 landing burn. Stage 1 leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
SECO 1.
And great news, we heard that Falcon 9 has landed, touchdown on A Shortfall of Gravitas. We also heard, there it is on your screen, incredible view of the vehicle standing tall.
Orbit insertion.
And we also had SECO 1 as well as that call out right there. Let us know that we had a good orbit.